This is part 2 of our massive commercial chain link fence installation. In the first part, we took down the old fence, set our post, learned about chain link fittings, and set the top rail. The job got delayed due to the neighbor wanting to have his backyard filled with dirt. Check out part 1 if you haven't seen it yet, but now we are going to continue installing this massive parking lot fence. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we have another updated situation here on the job. So behind me, this is where at the beginning of the video, if you remember, I was standing next to the 6-foot high fence and it was below me, almost at my shoulder height. So it was a really low fence, and that's because here in the neighbor's backyard, you'll see the property in the rear of this backyard dips down significantly toward the end. So you'll see I'm standing here, let's say I'm about 6 foot tall, I'm 5'10", but for the purposes of this video, let's say I'm 6 foot. And if you'll notice, the parking lot here is almost at my knee height. I mean, this is a significant difference in grade over here. So now the neighbor came out yesterday and expressed concern. He wants the new fence to be level all the way across. He wants the full privacy. And our customer decided to cooperate with him, and we're delaying this part of the job until Thursday, so that's going to be 2 days from now, to give him some time to backfill this whole area with dirt. So he's going to fill this divot, this drop in the grade with dirt, so that way we can go even all the way across with the entire fence. Welcome back to the job, everybody. Now you'll see behind me the neighbor of this job had the whole back of the property filled in with dirt. They even moved this shed back. So now we are clear to put in the fence and make it level with the other two sides. It's going to look really great. Right now you'll see we have the line post set. What's going on, Theo?
Relax, my friend. It's Thursday.
Ah, you need power.
It's the day today.
Hey, what's going on over here?
Estamos comiendo, caballito.
Porque no estás trabajando? Está hiding.
I went on a job site about 15 minutes ago. I was in a warm office drinking a cup of coffee, and then Alex dragged me out here to do this video. So yeah, okay, it's fine. So I'm here with Alex and Fred and Theo, and we're going to install bottom wire. We use the bottom wire or coil wire on the bottom of the fence to make the fence more stable, so you can't push it out. It's a real good idea if you have animals and you don't want them to push the fence to try to get under the fence, and it's a lot less expensive than bottom rail. You have a couple of options for tightening the bottom of the chain link fence. You could put a bottom rail, which is basically the same thing as the top rail, only on the bottom. Very expensive, well, not very expensive, but more expensive than bottom wire. Or you could use kind of like what they would use to secure a tent pole into the ground. It's kind of like a spike that goes into the dirt. We don't use them around here because the dirt's very loose and they would just get loose real quick. So the two main options for us are bottom rail or bottom wire. Bottom wire being the less expensive of the options, and also a lot easier to install, a lot less time to install it, and it follows grade a lot easier, and it gets lost in the fence. It doesn't look so commercial, especially if you're doing it around your house. The things you're going to need to do bottom wire, obviously you're going to need the coil wire, and this comes in galvanized like we're using it. You could also get it in black, brown, white, or green if you're doing a color fence and you want to match the pipe. Say you want to do all black, you would do black pipe, black wire, black coil wire, black hog rings, black ties, keep everything black. Today we're using galvanized. To secure this to the end post, we're going to use a brace band. The same thing you use on top to put on the railing cup. Then we would pull it all the way to the other end, and when we get to the other end, we need to pull it nice and tight. So we're going to use a special tool to pull it. We call it a dog. You know, I don't know what other guys call it, but whatever we call it is probably the right word. Everybody else would be wrong. So we call it a dog. Very thick coil wire, so he just bent it over so it's a little bit easier to feed through the brace band. So let's go over here. And we left a lot on the end so that he could tie it, because he could always cut off the excess. But you'll see in a second. Let's go, guys. We have the brace band on the bottom. Okay, and Fred, you're going to feed that through the brace band. We're gonna cut off all the extra right here because we don't need it. And we're gonna dispose of this. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna pull the bottom wire. The bottom wire gets installed on the same side that the wire is gonna go on, which means the wire we're gonna put on the outside, the bottom wire is gonna be on that side of the post. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull this bottom wire, we're gonna stretch it. We're gonna attach the come along to the bottom of our post, walk this past. What we're gonna do is we're gonna put the dog, we're gonna feed the wire in there. Okay, so the dog just sits in there, and now he's going to ratchet it up. Now, once it's tight, they're going to cut it on the end, and they're going to feed it through the other brace band and tie it. Fred's gonna put gloves on so he doesn't leave fingerprints. Okay, now we're gonna bend this.
Yes, sir.
Bend.
Okay. And gonna go in like that. One more. Got it.
Now we're gonna get rid of the come along so we can bend that around easy. Now the dog comes right off, and now Freddie's gonna finish that.
Okay, now we're gonna cut it.
Okay, now we're gonna secure the bottom wire to the line post. Now we have the bottom wire secured to the post. Took less than, I think, 10 minutes to roll out of the wire, pull it, and tie it to the posts. After this, what we're going to do is stretch out the chain link on the same side as the wire. We're going to stretch out the chain link. We're going to tighten the chain link, tie it to the top rail, just like you've seen us do 1,000 times before. And then we're going to use the hog rings and a hog ring plier secure to the bottom of the fence, and then it'll be secure. The main thing is, don't cheap out on the hog rings on the bottom. Use a lot of hog rings. Do like, 5, 6, 7 between each set of line posts. They're cheap. You buy them for a couple of bucks a pound. The more you put on, the tighter it's going to be, and the less likely in a windstorm for them to blow off if it gets really windy. So just don't cheap out on the hog rings. Use a lot of hog rings. I'm going to go back to my warm office now, finish my cup of coffee that's probably getting cold, and Alex is going to stay here and stretch the chain link, and the guys will show you how to put on the hog rings. Alex, can I go back to my office, please?
Yeah, but first,
What? More work?
what happened to your eye? The viewers want to know. What is that? Were you not wearing your safety goggles?
No, I was playing pickleball and I got hit by a paddle. Pickleball is a manly sport. I don't care what anybody says. So don't ever make fun of pickleball players.
Let me see that eye.
There you go.
That eye.
This is already a week old. It looked a lot worse.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to stretch the wire. He is going to lift up the roll and turn it, and these guys are going to pull it in that direction toward the terminal post. We have the entire roll stretched out, and we are going to put the tension bar through and connect it to these tension bands. Now we're going to tighten the nut on each tension band. Now, in order to prevent the wire from falling over, Freddie's just going to put a few ties on it. And now you want to make sure you put the tie kind of close to the line post on this side. That way, once we stretch the wire, the temporary tie doesn't, hit the line post here and prevent the wire from being stretched. So he puts it a good distance over that way, so he has plenty of room to stretch the wire with the come along once we get there. Now we're going to show you how we connect the two rolls together. So they're going to place the two separate rolls close together, and now we are just going to link them together with the extra piece of wire. So look at how he intertwines it through the two rolls. Theo helps him by holding the two rolls close together, so that way it's easy to weave through and connect the two rolls. And now once this is complete, you would never know that these were two separate rolls. Now on this end, we have to cut the roll here. We have a little bit of excess wire, so we're going to cut this, and now we have the perfect amount to begin stretching. Freddie is going to put a tension bar in through the wire in the middle of this last section. That's going to be the point at which we attach the come along and stretch the wire. So now we wrap the come along around the terminal post. You see we attach it on this tension bar, one further up in the fence and then one a little bit further down in the fence. Now Freddie is going to begin stretching the wire. As you'll see, he just uses the handle on the come along to stretch this wire tight. And now as Freddie is stretching, we're going to need someone else further down the fence to continually lift up the wire and make sure it doesn't get caught on anything. As Freddie stretches, Hersan is there lifting, making sure that the bottom of the wire doesn't get caught on anything. Now Hersan is just taking the excess wire. Now you'll see Hersan is going to put the tension bar on the end of the fence after he cuts off the excess. Now we're simply going to put a nut and bolt into the tension band to hold this wire in place. We're going to put a nut and bolt on each tension band. That's going to hold the wire in position, and then we're going to tighten. Now we can let the come along go. And there we go, that's how you stretch the chain link wire. Freddie is here now tying the fence. That's your next step. So let's look at how he does it. He weaves it on through. All right. Now he's going to just twist it around.
Twist around like this, and then just close it right here. Okay.
Perfecto. So for a fence like this, we're going to put a tie about every 6 links or so. So you'll see here, we have a tie. We count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we have another tie. Then we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and put another tie about here. First, we are going to continue to put ties all across the top rail, like so. And then we're going to also make sure we put ties around each line post. Each line post is going to get 4 ties. Another thing you'll probably notice when Freddie's tying the fence, each time he puts a tie on, he lifts the wire a little bit higher, because you want these coils on the top to be sticking up past the top rail. I have a piece of the chain link here, and I want to show you something important. So you see, on one side of the chain link, you have the wire knuckled. It's smooth on the top here. And then on the other side, it's coiled and spiked. So if we look at this side is coiled. It's spiked a lot sharper on this side. So typically when you're doing a commercial property, we'll always give them the option, but you typically want the sharp side, the coiled side, facing up, as it provides extra security. This is not easy to climb. If you were to climb over this, these would catch your clothes. They'd just make it really hard for you. You'd probably cut yourself, get your clothes caught, something like that. Whereas if we flip it over this side, this side's a lot smoother. So this is much more easily climbable. You can just kind of glide over it if you were to climb it. So for security reasons on this fence, we chose to go with the coil side facing upward, since this is a commercial property. To secure the chain link wire to the bottom wire, we're going to use hog rings, just like this. They're similar to the fence ties we're using to tie to the top rail. They're just a lot smaller. We're going to nestle them in hog ring pliers, just like this. You're going to squeeze the pliers and nestle the hog ring in there, just like that. Let's get a close-up of this. Then we're simply going to nestle this into the chain link wire and the bottom wire, and we're going to squeeze it nice and tight like that. And that is going to secure the bottom wire to the chain link wire. All right, so Lewis is going to put the hog ring inside the pliers like that, and he's going to go down to the bottom wire and simply pinch it and attach it to the bottom wire. Now that the wire is up, stretched, and tied, Freddie, get in here. Get on
Let
in
me
here.
get this. That way I can show them what we're doing.
See, Freddie, he's thinking ahead. Here we have a bag of wingtip privacy slats. The wingtip slats are the ones we most commonly use. You also have a few other kinds like lock top or hedge slats that also look nice, but for today we're using wingtip slats. And what differentiates these from the others is that you have a little fringe on the side of them. You have this little fringe on both sides. I really like these slats because you get the most amount of privacy with these. The lock top slats are smooth on both sides and it's a more noticeable space between each slat. So I really do like the wingtip slats. You'll notice one side of the slat is flat on the top and the other side is curved like this. The curved side goes in first. So the curved side is going to go to the bottom like this, and then you're going to have the flat side sticking up on the top. The way to do these is simply to manually insert them into each coil. This process has not been automated. It takes a long time. We usually have some of the college kids here in the summer.
Long time, yeah.
In the summer, we get all the college, high school kids to come help us do this, but it's just a slow process. You have to do it all by hand manually, and we're just gonna make our way down the fence line. It's going in nice and smooth.
You scared me. I didn't know you were that close. See? It was beautiful. You gotta wear gloves when you do this because the edges, you can cut your fingers, okay? So wear gloves all the time.
Now you'll see this section of privacy slats is complete. We are just going to continue the exact same process for the rest of this line of fence. Now that we've reached our final step of the installation, let's show you one more time the before and after product of this massive parking lot fence. On this side of the screen is our full list of fence-related tutorials. Learn our processes and installation methods here. On this side of the screen, if you wish to stay on the topic of chain link fences, is a playlist of all of our chain link fence-related videos. And of course, in the center is our subscribe button. Please click there to subscribe to our channel. It helps us tremendously. Thank you for watching.